Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Friday, September the 15th, 2023. Friday the 15th. Well, now we know whose idea the Deceptor came from. We all guessed wrong. And boy, was I happy to see her back. I would actually like to see Blair Kramer as a cast member on the show. I like the actress. See, Blair, and if you remember when she was on before, when Todd and Star were there, and Blair came to town with Taya following Todd, right? Because they thought, trying to prove he killed Taya's brother, who was Alcazar back in the day. But anyway, um, she and Carly became like instant friends. And then there was a point where Star was with Michael. And I'm telling you, I just like the actress Blair. I really do. So she comes up stylish and she's talking to Tracy and she sits down and she said, because Tracy bought it from her. So Tracy does own it now. She owns the rights to it. Blair sold it to her. But there's other provisions, in their terms, right? Blair wants Marty gone. As far as she's sick of paying him $50,000 a month. And Blair sat down. Now Martin and Lucy were walking into the Metro Court, and he saw her. Oh my God! He tried to turn around. No, let's go to the PC Grill. This place is overrated, and I want there whatever he said on the menu. She goes, no, because she saw Lucy. She goes, we are not Lucy. She saw Tracy, and Lucy said, we are not letting Tracy Quartermain run us out of here, right? And so she goes, come on, right now. So they go and they sit, and he's trying to look the other way. He doesn't want Blair to see. And I'm calling her, yeah, she's Blair. She's Blair in here too. Blair Kramer. He doesn't want Blair to see him. So they sit down, and his back is to them purposefully. And Lucy's like, I wonder who's that person, that blonde Tracy's talking to. And Marty has the menu up. I don't know. Nope, don't know. And he's trying to have the menu up so Blair can't see him. And so they're talking, and Tracy is going over again how, it's not going well in court. In order for them to keep that company, they're going to need more. But she turned down Tracy's offer because Tracy wants her to give up her 1% voting share in ELQ. And she goes, I'm never going to do it. And so she says, now, Martin, we all know that the Deceptor was your idea. And he looked, what? Don't say, I told you not to say that. She goes, yeah, I know you told me not to say it, but it's true. She said, and this is the first time we've heard it, everybody. She goes, I never would have thought of the Deceptor. Doy, we're talking Lucy Coe. And so he says, but you came up with it is yours, and I've told you that was your idea. And he goes, okay, fine. Especially with the light of we're in a lawsuit. But my whole thing is, why? Because for one, how did you think of it, Martin? See, a sane person would say, how did you think of it? Come to think of it, it's cosmetics. You're a lawyer. What gave you the idea of the Deceptor to give to me? Bingo. See, Maxie asked Lucy, are you sure this was your idea? Yes, see, and it wasn't. Because Maxie said, do not have us go bankrupt over something we're going to lose. So anyway, so now we know she is going to go down in flames because Blair thought of that a long time ago. It's like she was telling Tracy, that was my idea that I just never moved forward with it. So she's going to have years of plans. Tracy is going to win this SmackDown. But one thing Tracy said, really, bringing down Deception is a goal for her because she can't stand Lucy. But really, it's forcing Lucy to sign over that 1% voting share that she has and bring it back into the family. She's saying it's because of Lucy Coe that Valentin Cassadine was able to come in. And that's not the only bad thing that has happened, because Lucy has had that one vote, right? And so she goes, oh, I'll get that back from her. And Blair says, but look, do not forget about the other caveat. See, you still haven't lived up to the other end of the bargain. I need Marty off my payroll. And Tracy says, well, once Deception goes down, the stock is already tanking. Lucy Coe is going to be begging Martin Gray to marry her, demanding he marry her. Well, you know what? Then there goes his $50,000. So you broke. We talking about Martin. Lucy, you broke now. If I marry you and give up my $50,000 a month alimony, I'm going to be broke with you. Why would I do that? So no, that would mean Lucy would be saying, look, let's just, let us shack up and I will live off of your wife. But Lucy ain't broke. Come on now. So anyway, that was stupid. And I'm thinking, how's Tracy going to be able to engineer that? But you know what? Tracy does a lot, doesn't she? Tracy could do a lot. So anyway, Lucy says, you know what? You're right. I've lost my appetite. I don't want to eat in this dining room with Tracy Quartermain. I'm going to go to the restroom and meet me down in the lobby, Marty. So she leaves, and he's trying to get the waitress's attention with his credit card because he wants to get out of there before Blair sees him. Blair's sipping her wine, and she sees Martin across the room. And she goes over to him, and she goes behind him. Hello, lover. And it's like the look of doom on his face. Oh my God. The look of defeat. Because if it's one thing Martin knows, is he knows Martin, the Deceptor, was his wife's, that idea. She probably started thinking, started the concept when they were married. He knows that she knows he gave it to Lucy. That's going to be funny. I'm looking forward to seeing Martin squirm. I'm really looking forward to seeing Martin squirm. So now we have Austin. He goes to see Nikolas. Nikolas is all in his Italian suit, fine suit, and new luggage, and ready to go. And Austin's like, where are you going? Oh, good. You're going back to Port Charles. Finally. Okay, you're going to reclaim your life. Ava needs to know that you're not dead. He's like, I ain't going to no Port Charles. I'm going to Europe. And Austin's like, Europe? Wait, he goes, but wait, where'd you get the money for that suit and the luggage and to do all this traveling? He looked at Austin. He goes, I have many aliases and many accounts in those different alias names with a lot of money in them. All I got to do is access them when I need them. And Austin was like, wow, right? So he says, no, I'm going to Europe. He says, what's in Europe? Austin says. And he goes, my mother's in Europe. He goes, okay, so you're going to go to Europe to let your mother know that you're alive. He goes, okay. He goes, I'm not going to see my mother. My mother's not going to see me. He said, but I'm going to leave enough evidence to prove I'm alive. And so I see that's how Nikolas is. Oh, okay. This is his mother. He talked about her like he just didn't give a darn. Talked about Spencer like he didn't give it. But he goes, but you know, he goes, I told you I can't come back to Port Charles right now. I've got some things I got to take care of, loose ends. And he says, but your son. He goes, look, Spencer's going to handle me like a Cassadine would handle anything. And he goes, like what? Like I'm an obstacle to get rid of. Because that's what a Cassadine would do. And Austin's like, wow, like, gosh, that's your son and you're his father. He says, I have to make it known that I'm not dead, which is actually going to get Ava off the hook, ultimately anyway. Because there's a clause in the will. Now, mind you, Spencer took, and not the will, I guess the papers of the estate, right? That if someone is missing more than 6 months or presumed dead, then the estate goes to the next person, and the next person to inherit is Spencer. He says, I have to get there, make sure it's known that I am alive, because that stops all that. He goes, then my son will have no claim over the estate. But that doesn't mean I'm going back to Port Charles. Nope. So I was like, okay, makes sense, Nikolas, because that's one of the reasons why you played dead for so long, because of the Cassadine fortune. So it stands to reason you would have the exact frame of thought, which makes no sense. For somebody to have been so educated, Nikolas Cassadine has made the worst decisions on the planet. The worst. And I even, as he's even talking, scenes he's on, and I'm not talking about the actor. This is the character himself. I'm like, And Laura's looking for that, right? Spencer didn't have a chance. So he brings the paperwork to the estate paperwork to Alexis, and she starts looking over it, and she goes, this estate is massive. And Spencer's like, yeah, see, come on now. Spencer don't need to have his hands on that kind of money. I think $10,000 a week is enough. So anyway, she goes, this is too much. I can't even begin to look at all this tonight, Spencer, make heads or tails of it all. I'll get back to you by tomorrow night with it. You know, it's time to go now. Esme comes in, she's listening. And he goes, listen, I need you to do me a favor. It's regarding Ace. And Esme was just getting ready to come in with some papers, and she heard Ace and Esme, and she heard her name, so she stepped back. He goes, Trina and I are getting ready to go away to New York for the weekend. I need you to watch Esme. Keep an eye on Esme. And make sure Ace is safe. And so Alexis was like, well, Esme takes really good care of Ace. And he goes, no, I know, but I need you to, I'd feel better if you're keeping an eye on her. And then she drops the papers, Esme. And she comes in from the people. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Davis. I'm sorry. Here, this is the payroll. Just needs a signature, and then I can get it over to accounting. And and Alexis says, thank you, Esme. Because that blunder, actually, Esme had come in earlier and brought her papers to sign. Esme stopped the blunder of overlooking meeting the payroll deadline. So she was coming back, I think, with the signed papers, right? And was so she picked them up. She goes, the payroll situation has been handled. Everyone will be paid on schedule. And Alexis says, thank you. And so she goes, and Spencer's looking at her because he was just talking about her when she dropped the papers in the hall. And he's looking like, you were listening. That's what Esme, and she leaves out of there. So Alexis and Spencer leave, turn the light off. Alexis doesn't close or lock her door, left the papers on her desk. But my thing is this, they could be left on the desk all day long. For one, Esme can't change them. For two, the legal jargon in them, Esme would not understand them. Spencer didn't even really understand him. That's why he took him to his aunt, who was a lawyer, ex-lawyer. But watch, they're going to have her looking through all of that estate paperwork, and somehow she's going to be some kind of genius. I don't think so. But one thing is for sure, now she knows Spencer's going out of town. So she's going to come up with, of course, a medical emergency for Ace. But my thing is this. Spencer lives with Esme and Ace. Spencer could barely miss a bedtime bottle with Ace. Why hasn't he told Esme, I'm going to be going out of town with Trina? Don't call me unless it's an emergency. My Aunt Alexis is on standby if something comes up. See, address it like a man. For one, you don't need her approval, but don't act like what you're going to just leave, sneak out with your bags and not even tell her you got. Come on, Spencer. I was thinking, Spencer, you haven't told her not to ask permission, but to this is what's happening. And I'm leaving tonight. Spencer. So, they had a scene, and I had to throw this in, everybody. So Trina was talking to Joss, about moving in. She started to move into the dorm too, and she's talking about this is gonna be the first time with her and Spencer. And Joss is like, I may give Spencer a hard time, but he is a good guy. And I'm thinking, when did you think that, Jocelyn? But okay. So she's like, well, are you ready for this? I just want to make sure you're ready. He's not pressuring you. She goes, no, he's not pressuring us. We were on the verge, but something always happens. And it's time. Boy, is it time, right? So Trina had a flashback of when they were in Greenland. So I had to take a picture of it, the kiss, right? You all were right. It is top lip, bottom lip. But it was just the intensity of the character, the on the run, the love conquers all, the passion they would show for each other. But this one, the intensity of the kid, I'm analyzing it. It is more intense than what they have been doing. But you guys are right. It's always been that way. Not just me. You all did too. I ain't gonna pretend it's just me. We're thinking it's kind of cooled off. The chemistry between the actors have cooled off. But you know what? You guys are right about top lip, bottom lip. So now let's go to Carly. Carly, I kind of thought told Ava a little too much. But actually what she did tell Ava, Sonny already told Ava. He already told Ava that he was going to let, Pilar, they were giving her the rope to access the apartment and find the fake information. So Ava didn't know it, but she's playing coy with Carly like she didn't know. Carly comes into her own house and Ava's sitting there. And so she goes, oh, Ava. They're in the living room. I didn't have Donna on the schedule today, because she was saying it as if I would have been home, right? And she goes, no, I know you didn't. I brought Avery over to be with Donna. I really have something she needed to do tonight. I hope it's okay, And so she goes, so Carly says, anything for Avery. Cut the crap, Ava. That's not why. And she goes, excuse me? She goes, that's not why you want her to stay here. And so Carly goes into, blah, blah, blah. It's what Sonny is doing for you. And so she goes, what, got out of hand? And so Ava's like, Carly, this is none of your business. And you know what? I could take Avery elsewhere. So Carly looked at her. She says, bottom line, you already know. Avery is always welcome here. I will always protect her. But what I'm saying to you is, don't try to snow me. You in a mess. And you're in a mess with Austin and his cousin Mason. But see, what Carly doesn't know is that's the Mason that put his hands all over Olivia. because I don't think Mason ever said his name. He did say his name, but not to Carly. He may have said it to Olivia when he introduced himself to her, right? So anyway, Ava's like, wait, what? Sonny told me. She's like, because Sonny has asked me and Drew to help. We were in Pittenville, and so she's going on and on. She says, so you know what, in essence, Ava, I'm also helping you with your mess. But Carly is partially right. The mess that Sonny has enlisted Drew in was, you want to know, Ava was the initial entry point for Cyrus, for the boss. They used blackmailing her. She says, they got something on you. So she goes, did you know that Austin, the information that Betty got, Austin was the one that took it to Pentonville, to whoever his boss is there? And Ava's like, her back is to Carly. She goes, yeah, you didn't know that, huh? She goes, I was there. I saw him. I was there visiting Drew. She said, Ava, you can't trust him. See, he's not telling you everything. And I'm thinking, Carly, you don't know a big old piece. A piece is, Ava thinks she killed your cousin. Because as much as Carly can't stand Nikolas, they are cousins. We're talking Nikolas. No, wait a minute. They're fake cousins, actually. No, they're not related at all, now that I think of it. Because Luke and Laura were married. Nikolas is Laura's son. Not Lucky, that's right. Lucky was her cousin, not Nikolas. So scratch all that train of thought. Everybody had to think of the lineage there. Okay. So she goes, I'm just telling you, don't trust him. And so Ava says, she turned around and she looked at Carly and she says, thank you, Carly, for taking care of Avery. Situation is tumultuous for me right now, and I need her safe. And Carly was like, like always. But you see who Nina didn't take her daughter to? She didn't take her daughter to her bestie, Nina. She didn't. She takes her to Carly every time because she knows Carly will lay down her life for her daughter. Period. So then we have Anna and Valentin, and I fast forwarded a lot of that because Anna busy throwing one of Valentin's lies in his face, and he said, I wanted to shield you from this, from the Pikeman part, and I don't work for them. I'm just an intermediate, and yeah, I'm just a contractor. Even back then in the day, she goes, why didn't you tell me you used to work for them back in the day? He goes, because I was an independent contractor. I don't work for them. I'm just a go-between. A go-between with their go-between. And apparently Dante found information how that night when he said he was at ELQ, he flew out to New York. And he said, well, the Pikeman wanted a meeting. And she says, why would you have to fly to New York when you have an informant right here in Port Charles? He says, well, I guess they didn't want it to go through the informant and blah, but he still can't name no names on the boss. But I flew to New York for them, but I still don't know who they are. Come on, Val. She goes, you're lying to me, Valentin. And you're still lying to me. And I thought I knew you better than that. He goes, all you need to know is I love you. She's kind of like, I don't want to hear this anymore. I'm tired. I'm getting ready to go upstairs. I'll order room service, And so he takes her up to the room and they open the door and the whole room is just ransacked. From the quick look of it, it looked like blood all over the place. But it wasn't. Valentin had picked up one of the white bloody looking thing and it was red ink. He goes, ink? And Anna is in the bathroom now. She's finished securing the place. And she turned around and she looked on the mirror and this was written. You think you got away with it? You didn't. You think you're safe, and the bottom part says you're not. So now that's got us thinking, who could this be? It's either her sister Alex, Peter August, or somebody we can't just remember. It's somebody we can't remember, possibly. So that's what she saw, because they're letting her know, oh, we got into this room just like we burnt your house down. you know, So anyway, that's it, everybody. Look, I looked at Comment Corner, over 50 comments. Thank you so much. I love the way you all are interacting with each other in Comment Corner. It's like we're having a great conversation with each other. Keep up the good work. But with 50 comments, I can't even put a dent in them. So great comments, great thoughts. I mean, I was really, really loving it. So please, everybody, take a few minutes and just go on over to, Comment Corner on, go to the video, this video, go to the comment section and just read the comments. And actually, it's not going to be this video. Go to the video dated September 14th, because that's where the actual comments are on, September 14th, and read the comments. Great reading. Excellent job. All right, everybody, I will be back next week for another daily recap of General Hospital.